Hi, my name is Walter, and I'm the creator of Hand and Foot Friends and Family Edition. I'm going to walk you through how to start a new game and share with you some strategy that I use to maximize my high score and beat the opponent. So once you log in, you'll be seeing the home screen. You'll go up and press the new game button, and we're going to play against Seymour, one of our computer players. Press continue. You're going to use 15 cards, which is what we recommend for a two-player game. And the required number of canastas to go out, we'll use what we call a 1-1 setup, which means one natural and one unnatural, meaning one canasta with no wild cards and one canasta with wild cards. When it's 1-1, you can make as many canastas as you want. It just means you have to make at least one of each, natural and unnatural, before you go out. Okay, here are the different ways that this game is set up that you can just read through. Press start game. Now for some of those who are brand new, let me just walk you through the board. So on your left are the cards that are in your hand. On the top, this explains who the teams are. In this case, it's just one player against another player. So this is me right here, and then this is Seymour. If it's this yellow color with the red around it, that means that's the current player's turn. If it has gray in the next, that means that's the next player's turn. The 15 means how many cards I have in my hand currently. And this little icon here is the foot. When it's black like that, it means that I still have my foot, meaning I'm not playing my foot yet. You can see Seymour already made his initial meld on his first turn. And the initial meld is the number of points. Since it's a round of 50, you have to make 50 points before you can really do anything else, before you can start making more melds. So playing that initial meld, so they did this side of the board here is where your opponent's cards are going to be, and the bigger side here is where your cards are. So he put down 3 9s, that would have been 30 points, 3 4s, so that would have been 45 points, and then it looks like put down 3 7s, so actually 2 7s, and that little black indicator means that there was a wild card there. In total, that means he's got 75 points so far. And the little black and the red indicator means the number of canastas that you need. So one unnatural canasta, which is black, that has a wild card, and one natural, which is red. And you can see how the 9s and the 4s are red, meaning those are all naturals, and the 7s have already turned black as soon as a wild card was put on them. So now it's my turn. So I'm gonna press draw, and I draw 2 cards. So a 9 and a 5. Now, one of the things that I like to do to help maximize my points when I'm playing a game, and also when I'm playing single, is I don't meld right away, even though I can. Like I can meld and meet my 50 here by melding my 9s. That would give me, those 3 give me 30 points. You can see 10 points in the lower left-hand corner. And then I can meld my 5s. Remember, to start a new meld, you need at least 3 natural cards or 2 natural cards and a wild card. 2s and jokers are wild. So I could get 30 and 20 here. That would give me 50, but I'm not going to do that. I like to wait until I can get rid of all my cards in my hand in one turn and get my foot. And I'll talk a little bit about why that's important. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to discard. So when I want to discard here, I want to try to avoid my opponent from picking up. So I'm going to look to see what my opponent just melded, because usually what that means is when they've melded, they probably don't have any more 4s in their hands or any more 9s, or maybe any more 7s. But I don't want to get rid of 9s because I've got 3 of those. I'm going to keep those for my own meld. I don't even have any 7s, so I can't discard a 7, but I do have a 4 here. And notice how it's a singleton, meaning there's just one 4 in my hand, and Seymour just melded 3 of them. So that's probably a safe bet. So I'm going to tap on the 4, and then in the lower left-hand corner, I'm going to tap to discard and end my turn. So I discard 4, and you can see he can't pick up because he drew 2 cards himself. You can either draw or pick up from the pile. In order to pick up, you need at least 2 natural of the card that is being discarded. And now he discarded a 3 to me, a red 3. So any 3s can't be picked up. So there's no way I can pick up. So this is kind of faded out. So I have to draw. So I'm going to draw to take my turn. I got a 5 and a jack. So that's great. Look at this. I've got 5 5s already and a jack. So let me go through my discard thing. To discard, you always want to get rid of your red 3 or black 3 first. But I don't have any of those. Then I look to see what is on the table. I still don't want to get rid of my 9s. I didn't get any 7s. I don't have any more 4s. So now it's kind of, I'm going to get rid of something maybe that I have a singleton of, just 1 card of, which could be king, jack, 10, or ace. Hard to say what Seymour might have in his hand here. I'm going to just kind of get rid of the 8. We'll guess. See what happens here. So I'll discard an 8. And good news, Seymour can't pick up, which is great. So he drew 2 cards, and it looks like Seymour is either not able to meld or doesn't want to meld anything else, so he just goes. So it's my turn again. Okay, great. I got a queen. So I've got 3 queens now. Starting to fill this in here. And look, I got a 3, so that's an easy decision for what I want to discard. Let's see, Seymour drew 2 cards. He's going to discard a 3. So what I'm trying to do here is build enough cards all in my hand so I can meld all in one at once. So if you'll notice, what is preventing me now from melding all at once is these singleton cards up here, king, jack, and 10. So my goal is to try to get rid of those single cards out of my hand so I can get everything to meld at once. So let's continue drawing here. I got another 6 and another wild card. Okay, another 2. So here I am again in a situation where I don't know really, there's no easy decision on what to discard. So I'm going to have to choose from my king, jack, or 10, knowing there's a chance that Seymour could pick them up. I'm going to discard a 10. We'll see if I get lucky here. It's great. Seymour couldn't pick it up or chose not to. And in fact, Seymour discarded a 10. So one of the things that you could do, and maybe what the computer just did there, is if Seymour may have noticed that I discarded a 10, so he thought, maybe that's a good idea for him to discard a 10. So another way that you can think about what to discard is by looking at what your opponent's discarding. We'll also talk about how to leverage that as a tip to try to bait your partner to discard something that you might want to pick up, but we'll wait on that for later. So I can't pick up that 10, so I'm going to draw. I got an ace and another 10. Okay. Well, he didn't pick up the 10 the last time. He discarded a 10. So 10's maybe safe bet. Let me try it again. Let's see. Yep, and he doesn't do it. But now look at this. Seymour has given me a queen. So now I could say, well, remember we talked, I like to try to get all the cards in my hand at once so I can meld all at once and go right into my foot. Well, I've decided because he's throwing a queen away, it's worth me picking that up because not only do I get the top card, but I get the 5 cards beneath it for a total of 6 cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press pick up. Notice it's going to take 2 of the queens that I had in my hand, place them here, but it's not going to let me get that 3rd queen, nor is it going to let me see the cards beneath it until I meet my meld, my initial meld, which is 50. So it's put the 2 down, it's given me the benefit of the doubt on the queen there, so I have 30. So I just need to meld 20 more. So I'm going to take these 6s right here because that's 20. So I'm going to do 6. So that's, now I see I have 15 left, 10 left. Pressing the 6s again, and 1 more. And that did it. And now look, it got me all those cards. Now I have all those 10s that were discarded, which is great. I can choose to play them now, or I'll wait. I'm going to wait because maybe, who knows, maybe Seymour will throw some other things that I can pick up from the pile too. So I'm going to have an easy decision here, discard a 3. Seymour looks like he's going to start a new meld of 8s over here. He's adding a 7. Starting a new meld of kings up here with the wild. And then discard an ace. Now, see, I only have one ace up here, so I can't pick that up. So I'm forced to draw. So I'll draw. And I got an 8 and a 7. More singletons. It doesn't really do me much good. I do see I have a queen up here that I picked up. I only have one of those. Now, I could wait to get a second one to try to pick up, but I'm just going to go ahead and meld it. So to meld, you probably noticed you can do it 2 ways. You can just click on the queens here, or I can click on the queen and then click on that spot too. That's another way of doing it. And I'm going to discard and get rid of that 3. Seymour's going to go, starts a new meld of jacks over here, and then gets rid of a 6. I can't pick that up. I've already melded my 6. 6 is down here that I had, so I'm going to draw. 5 and a king. Boy, I've got a lot of 5s here. This is great for me. So one thing I could do, because I've got so many of them, is I might try to trick my computer opponent here. I'm going to play 4 of these 5s, but I'm going to keep 2 in my hand just in case the computer might see, oh, I've got 5s down. So if I've already melded 5s, maybe I won't be able to pick it up. So hopefully I'll put these 5s down here, and maybe that'll trick my computer opponent and thinking I won't be able to pick up. Now I've got a discard. I don't have any easy ones. I don't have any easy 3s here. I see kings were recently put down, but I've got 2 of them. Jacks would be a good option potentially. 9s would be a good option. Not for me though, because I want to keep those, and I've got 8s. Now Seymour only has 2 cards left, so it's unlikely he's going to be picking up anything. So probably pretty much anything I discard is going to be safe. So I'm going to get rid of one of my singletons here. I'm going to go with the 7, and I'll put the 7 down as a discard. So Seymour's pretty close to getting its foot. Not able to do it yet. Got down to 1 card, gave me a queen. I can't pick that up. I got a 10 and a 4. Well, he's got 5 here. But really, if you look up here, he's only got 1 card in his hand. So no matter what I discard, he can't pick it up because he didn't need to have at least 2 cards. So I'm going to get rid of this 4. Seymour discards a 6, and obviously he drew 2 cards, but he couldn't play those cards. So we don't know what he has, but we knew he can't play it. Now I got a 3 here. Oh, well, so here's something I can do. See, I have these kings up here. I could choose to play them. I can wait to play them, or because I know he's already got kings down here, he's trying to get his foot. So he's going to try to, if he has kings in his hand, he's not going to discard a king. He's going to play it on the board. So I can safely meld my kings because it is highly, highly unlikely he would ever discard a king in this situation. So there's no advantage for me to keep kings here. Let's see if there's anything else that I could. So if we use that same philosophy, I can get these 9s boarded as well, because it's unlikely he's going to do that. Now I want to keep the 5s here just because I'm doing I'm trying to sandbag these. Sandbagging is holding back 2 of your cards, hoping that your opponent will discard so that you can pick up the pile. And I'm going to keep my wild cards here. I don't need to use those yet. So easy decision here. I've got a red 3, which my opponent can't pick up, so I'm going to discard that. Plus, you want to get rid of a red 3 anyways. If you notice it had minus 500, you don't want to get stuck. And look at this. The computer played right into my trap and gave me that 5 that I was looking for. So now I'm going to do what's called sandbagging, and I'm going to press pick up. I'm going to get this 5. Notice I have 4 here. Watch what's going to happen. I'm going to get a canasta. Notice how it went from 4 and just went to a check mark because it took the 2 I had in my hand plus the 1 from the top of the pile, and I get a natural canasta. So notice this is red, stays red here, get the check mark, and up here, the red box is filled in. Plus, if you noticed, my score jumped up considerably. it was right around 150 or so before, but now because I have a natural canasta, it's worth 500 points, so it's added the value of that natural canasta. So I really jumped ahead in the score right here. Let's see, what can I do? I got an extra 6 here. I could go ahead and play that if I wanted. And easy decision to, I could play another queen here too. So I'll go ahead and do that. And I'm going to discard my red 3. So one of the nice things too about picking up is you get extra cards that you can either meld or you can discard. So again, I can tell Seymour's struggling to get his foot. When Seymour's struggling to get his foot like this, there's really no real compelling reason for me to rush to get my foot, because I got plenty of time. I'm going to just build my melds here, because the more work that you can do to build your melds before you get the foot, then it makes it just that much easier to get, that when you do get your foot, you get those extra 15 cards that then you can play easily. So I'm going to draw 2 cards here. Well, let's see, I got a 6 and a 9. That's good news for me, because I've got those on the board. So I'm going to put a 6 here, put a 9 here. Now I've got a discard. Again, I can pick anything I want because Seymour only has 1 card. So I am going to discard a 4 because that's a singleton for me. Seymour adds 9s. Yep, discards a 10. Look at that. Good news for me. See, there's 14 cards in there. He's still struggling to get his foot. Now, you might think, I'm taking a long time getting a lot of cards, but if he hasn't gotten his foot yet, he's nowhere close to being able to go out. He is close to being able to get well, that's not true. He is close to be getting a natural canasta. So I do want to be careful a little bit here, because if as soon as he gets his foot, he could potentially make these canastas, but I'm going to risk it because I think I'll still have some time here. I'm going to pick up those 10s, and I ended up getting a 4, a 5, a 3, 6, and a 3, which is great. Now, unfortunately, I can't play this 6 yet here to make my another natural canasta, because I have to first make a canasta with a wild card. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play my other 10s rather than sandbag, because I don't think I'm going to pick up anymore. I've got a lot of cards now, and now I really want to start thinking about getting my foot. So, and I've got a lot of singletons here. So I want to be careful now about picking up too much. So, and I could make any of these a wild at some point to get my other wild canasta, so I can make my 6s, or I could make my 6s as my wild canasta. But for now, let's just see how things develop here. So he's still struggling getting his foot. So again, I'm not going to rush too much. Let's see, I'll get rid of my 3 because that's an obvious choice. Okay, I'm going to draw. I got two jacks now, and I got another 3, so I'll discard that. Seymour grabs 8s, and again, still struggling. He must have in his hand things like aces, queens, 10s, 6s, and 5s, and he must have just like one of each of those, and that must be why he can't get his foot. So I can see why he might be struggling here if that's what he has, or I can maybe make an inference about what he has by the fact that it's taking him a long time. So I got a king here, so I'll play that. Let's see if there's anything else. I got a 10 here I could play. I can't play my 6 yet. Now this 5 here, I could go ahead and play. I can what's called bury it in my natural canasta here, so I can get rid of that from my hand. Again, my goal is to get rid of all the cards in my hand so I can unlock the 15 cards that are behind here in this foot. That 4 has been a pretty good card for me as a discard, so I'm going to keep going with it. Here, Seymour finally gets enough to make new meld of 10s, but still can't get his foot. Yeah, so I've got queens here. This is good. Now, I'm starting to get close to where I have pairs of everything now. And so what I could do is I could use my wild cards to start getting rid of some of the cards in my hands. I don't have enough yet. If I had a third wild card, I could use Jack, Jack, and a wild card to get rid of the Jacks, 8, 8, and a wild card to meld my 8s, and then my 7s, 7, 7, and a wild card, and then I could bury, but I couldn't bury my 6s yet because I still need an unnatural canasta, something with wild. So I'm not quite there yet. So the one thing I do have as a singleton is this ace, so let's get rid of that. Aces are good to keep and try to meld if you can because they're worth 20 points, so it's good point total. But because it was a singleton, that's why I decided to get rid of it. Now I've got a king here. Great, we'll play that. Now, oh, this is good. Now this is interesting. I'm getting much closer now to being able to get my foot because I got a third wild card. But remember, because I still need to make another, I don't want to get rid of these sixes without being able to make them as a natural canasta. So what I might do here is at some point I'm going to have to make one. So let me just go ahead and make these queens because this is close. I could make the queens or the 10, either one here. I'm just going to choose the queens. Now I've made, notice how it turns black. I made an unnatural canasta. My point total went up by 300 because an unnatural canasta, because it's a wild card, it only goes up by 300 as opposed to the 500 for natural canasta. And notice this black rectangle is filled in. So now I can bury my sixes, actually not bury them, make a natural canasta. See, I got another natural canasta up here. My score went up again by another 500. Now I can bury this 6. Now I still can't get my foot yet because I still have these pairs. And I don't know, let's see, which ones do I want to do? I could really discard any of these, frankly, because the computer still only has one card there, so he can't pick it up. But I might want to pick something that he's pretty close to, because if he's already got 6 here, it's unlikely, of course, that he would have anything in his hand like that. So I might go ahead and get rid of the 7s because the 7s are lower point value. So if I can meld in something, I'll get higher points. So I'll get rid of the 7. Boy, he's really struggling over there to get his foot. Now that's unfortunate because see what happened here is I got another singleton that I can't do anything with. So because I can't get my foot yet, there's no sense in me melding these, like starting a meld with jacks and 8s, because who knows, maybe next time I might get a natural jack. And so I wouldn't need to use a wild card. So I'm just gonna, I know the 4 is a good discard. I'll get rid of that 4. Starting a new meld of aces now. And finally, he was able to get its foot. Now notice how the 1 jumped back up to a 15, and the foot indicator went from black to gray. So now that means he has his foot. He wasn't able to play any of those cards because he had to discard the queen to get the foot. But now I want to move swiftly here, because as soon as he gets the foot, he's going to probably be able, he might have a jack in there or an ace or a couple 4s. He's probably going to be able to make his canastas pretty quick now because he's got all these 15 fresh cards there. So my job now is to get my foot quickly. And this is exactly what I'm going to do. And this is actually a perfect situation for me. So I've got 3 pair up here that I need to meld. And I've already got my unnatural and natural canasta. And I can bury this 6 here. So watch this. I'm going to be able to what's called play through, which is your ideal situation. I'm going to play these 2 jacks, play my 8s with the wild card. Notice how they're all turning black as soon as they're red at first, but then they turn black as soon as I add the wild card. Now I can, instead of discarding the 6, this is the only time you don't need to discard in this game, I can take this 6 and bury it. I can get all here of my cards, and maybe I can even go out. Let's see how close I can get. So I'm going to make another natural canasta of kings, which is awesome. I'll play my queens here, my jacks here, my 9s here, my 7s here, my 6, my 5. Now look at this. This would be so ideal for me to go out right here because he hasn't made any of his canastas yet. So he's not going to get any extra points for that. Plus, he might have a bunch of cards in there, maybe like a red 3 that counts 500 points against him. So if I can go out right now, he doesn't get to make any canastas, and he's going to get stuck with a bunch of points from whatever he has in his hand. Now, The 3 is going to be my discard, so I'm going to hold that. I've got to use at least one wild card with these aces to meld them. So I'm going to put my aces down. Now I can maximize, try to get as many canastas as I want before I leave. Now some of you might say, hey, why don't I stay in and try to, make more canastas? Well, I don't think that's a great strategy in this case, because I'm going to be able to make one of these. But some of these others, there's only 3 cards there, 4. Remember, you have to get 7 to make a canasta. So I'm kind of far away from some of these others. I could maybe make one extra one here, but that's probably going to be offset by the near certainty that Seymour is going to be able to make at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 canastas here. So I'm going to just take my canasta here that I know for sure I can make with the 10s. And then I can put this wild card anywhere where it's kind of highlighted here. I'll just put them on the jack. And then I'm going to press this and I'm going to go out. And look at this. Base, he didn't have any base because he didn't make any canastas. I had 2100 base. That's the combination of all the natural and unnatural canastas. Remember, a red or natural canasta is worth 500. A black canasta is worth 300. The count, 690, that's the point value of all of the cards that I melded and are in canastas. And then I subtract anything that I still had in my hand or foot. But I didn't have anything in my hand or foot because I went out. And that's why I get 100 for bonus. So we can see 0 for bonus for Seymour, 0 for base because he didn't make any canastas. But he's got a decent count, really, 305, which tells me he didn't have a lot of high cards in his hand or didn't have any red 3s. He's got about 300 points. But I crushed him. There, I've got 2,890. He only has 305. So I am up by over 2,500 points in just a single round. So that was a very successful round. So if you're ready to start the round of 90, you could. But since this is already a pretty long video, I'm going to end this one here. And we'll do the round of 90 in a separate video.